Well, it is the 24th of July. We got about about a week left in the month. And, there's a lot going on right now. Welcome to another edition of Taco Thursday right here at the Madman Cafe. Uh, we really do appreciate you clicking on this video, but I want you to take one more step. And the thing about it is, and I want to tell you right now, before we really get into the show, because we got a lot to cover, YouTube is playing games again. And this time around, and a lot of other YouTubers have been warning on this as well, a lot of content creators out there telling you, basically, when you click on the video, normally you would get the count. And that's generally what it is. You click on the video with, you watch it for about, even up to about a minute, you get the view. It seems like now YouTube is playing around that basically if you don't hit a like or share it or subscribe to it, it won't count. In other words, if you don't do something on there that basically acknowledges that you've been at, even though they know you've been there, that they're trying to prove that you ain't been there because basically you haven't done anything other than watch the video. They want you to interact with it to get the view. So do me a favor, take this moment as we're beginning this video, hit that like and share it or subscribe. Any of those three, all three, or any one of the three would do it. For those of you on Rumble, you could do the same out there, but we don't have that problem out there on Rumble. But still do it anyway, because basically we want to move up in the algorithms on as well. And it does help us move up in the algorithms on YouTube as well. But these are the games every month or so that YouTube plays with the content creators. I mean, you see what is going on in the mainstream media right now. Stephen Colbert has just been, he's gotten his cancellation, his walking papers from CBS, which is not a surprise considering that late night television has been dying for quite some time. YouTube is still number one streaming service for the shows that we have here, the content creators that on there, whether it's Nerdrotic, or basically Tim Pool, or any other show, Sci-Fi for Me, which I recommend going to him and hitting him subscribe, Sci-Fi Snob, and many others that are in this realm with us. It's very important on there, and you look to the perspective that, all you have linear TV that's going to be replaced by fast channels on online as far as streaming goes. That's going to be the new linear television, and I've always said this. And the late night shows haven't been the same thing, in many years now. Since Letterman left, since Conan left, since God rest Johnny Carson's soul, one of the best men in late night show history. Jay Leno. It's not the same. And the thing about it is, the shows that you're watching now aren't the original shows what they used to be. It's the same thing that what happened to David Letterman many years ago when he tried to have the Tonight Show. And basically, he wanted the Tonight Show. But, everyone was like saying, well, you don't want this. He said, why don't I want this? Because you're not getting the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. You're getting the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. That's what you're getting. Because Jay Leno was hosting at the time when Johnny retired. That's what you're getting. You're not getting the show that was originally was. But yeah, I'm going too far on this. But again, do that, subscribe, like, share. Now, getting into this is so much that's going on that in the anime world. Besides the fact that you have people out there that are attacking the gaming industry and the anime manga, and it turns out to be the same people that are doing this through the payment processors. We just recently, because of what's been going on over on Steam, that they've removed like 500 games. 500 games. A lot of them are from Asia. And there's this group called Collective Shout, and we're going to eventually talk about them on Man with a Show on there down the line, and it'll probably be included in Taco Thursday as well. But this is another group that has spawned up, and from what I understand, I think they're from Australia. Now, why is Australians butting their nose into what's going on in the rest of the world as far as what's on Steam? It gets me. If you don't like the product, geo-block it. Go right ahead. Geo-block the anime. Geo-block my channel. If you don't like my content, geo-block it. It's fine, But I'm in the US of A. We have a constitution, freedom of speech, all that. But it seems like this group, and it's a radical feminist group, they're going after everything. And it seems like they have ties to one of our old friends. Yes, Nosk. Nosk, or AKA Morality and Media. This is being uncovered by YouTubers out there and those on X right now as we speak. And it's not only the gaming they're going after. They're going after T-shirts. They're going after clothing. There's one where, they're going after a costume of a Playboy bunny that was being used out there, and they're going after that. They're going after women, and we talked about this before. If you didn't see the video on Man with the Show about how China has arrested women who were creating gay erotica, whether it's like yaoi or male or female to female, male to male, that they've been arresting them left and right for violating the law in China. This is the thought that Collective Shout has also. That they don't like it. They don't like women. Like I said, I'm not here to defend these products. I'm here to say that when you open up the Pandora's box, that basically you ban one particular item, could you tell me where do you stop at? Where is the end of the Rubicon for you folks out there? Collective Shout, where do you end on it? Or Morality and Media? Where is the end game? Where's the field goal, the end post to this whole situation? There isn't. There isn't one. What they want is total control of the internet to the way they want it. They don't want you watching these things because they themselves don't like it. And I've said it many times before, quoting Howard Stern in his good days, not now the way he's acting these days, but in his good days when he was truly the king of media. If you do not like my show, if you're offended to it, if it's something you disagree with and you don't want to hear it, there are two things you could do. Change the channel or turn it off. Don't continue to listen to it. Because basically, I'm not, I really, I'll tell you this, if you don't like what I talk about, there are plenty of other channels that you can listen to or watch. But don't, take away the right of other people to listen to what I'm talking about. And that's what these groups are doing. They're taking away the rights of people of things that they like. It's not whether I agree or disagree with the product. And you may say to yourself, wow, they have these things. Stop. Stop right there. Because, yes, there are things out there that are cringy. And I'll admit to that. It's, whether it's in gaming, whether it's in anime, whether it's in manga, hentai, all those situations. Remember, it's not only those genres. It's all genres. There are some stuff that aren't. There are people who don't like horror films and certain types of horror films. Some people don't like it completely heavy on the blood, the gore. They don't like a lot of that. They like a standard horror film or a thriller. I say a thriller type. And that's the thing. Do you get rid of the stuff that's really gory? Do you get rid of the Terrifier movies for that reason? No, you don't. Don't watch it. Watch something else. There's plenty. There's plenty of media out there. The other half is that the the anime world, the manga world, the gaming world. They've been very popular as of late. For the reason is that there's something to do, something to watch. I'm just now getting back into gaming after about almost a 3 years hiatus. I mean, even during COVID, I wasn't even playing any gaming. Really, I think there was like one game I was playing on PC off of Steam, and this is to the point. This is censorship. These are the new Puritans that they're coming after everybody. They're coming after everybody's fun. And the other half of the point is that they label some of these things, grape. I can't even say the right product. They label it cheese pizza or CP, and actually they're not. It's like some of the employees at Crunchyroll. They consider the anime world and manga world completely pornography. Figure that one out. Tell me in the comments. Is there something I'm missing? Is there something I'm missing? Really, truly, that out there that basically you have a lot of people that have the thought pattern that adult content that is animated is pornography. Now you might say, "Oh yeah, I know, hentai obviously to the situation." I mean, you had that show out now that just started, where they're in this school on an island on there, and in the island the number one rule out there is that you have to have sex, to the point, or they will literally, you get arrested. Okay, fine, but that's done in a comedic sense. It is done in a hilarious sense to that point, because it is silly. There's a lot of action in it to the point, but these are the crazy things. And they say, well, you can't have it. But yet, meanwhile, we have Handmaid's Tale out there, hanging out there. Think about that for a minute, okay? We have Handmaid's Tale. They got no problem with it. And they use that as a political point that, that they say, oh, it represents the conservatives. I said, no, ask the author. The author did not put it to that point. That's not what the author, how it wrote it. Basically this is, a world that doesn't exist in ours, that basically she created her own world the same way, like the Harry Potter world, which basically they demonize because, the magic is the devil and stuff like that. And many other novels on there, Hunger Games, and you can go down the line. But this is the insanity that's going on. And, we're going to talk about it a little bit more on Men with the Show and other episodes of Taco Thursday. So I just want to throw that out there right now. So, what is it for this week? I mean, this week, last week we were talking about how Netflix is now top of the heap, king of the world when it comes to anime. Because basically the numbers have been coming in that globally Netflix is outscoring Crunchyroll as of late. But this episode, we're going to find out one of the reasons why. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on there. But what we're going to do now, and I want to bring this up first. Right now in Japan, and I only have the numbers because we recorded this prior to the updates on there. The Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie has already opened in Japan. And I'm telling you, this is going to do money around the world, including in the West, here in the United States. This will be making money. How much, I can't predict to that point. It depends on how many theaters they're going to put it in the U.S. I'm hoping they're going to do at least 3,000 theaters, because they're going to need a lot of theaters for this. Because what has been going on overseas is that it's been selling out. Right now, it surpassed Mugen Train as far as its numbers. Last numbers approximation, they're well over 12 million US dollars. That's about 1.7 billion yen. So they've done about 12 million dollars. That's major. That's major for an opening uh, for a anime movie. And from some of the clips that I've seen, I mean, this looks gorgeous. They did a hell of a number with this series. And just to tell you how popular that this has become overseas, they sold out in 10 minutes in Japan. 10 minutes it took to sell out this movie. They had to add additional showings well into the morning. I mean, we're talking about, I saw a picture of people at 2 a.m. in the morning, Japan time. 2 a.m. I mean, there are articles out that this movie is redefining anime for the better. That basically this could be the big push that anime finally gets its due in the box office. That it gets better respect in the box office. That more and more people, articles out there. Odin, I hope you're listening because basically you might want to start tracking this one. Because I've said this a couple of times. There are certain movies out there that they don't track much and they do pretty well for itself. Not major blockbuster numbers, to a point that you're looking at, like the Avengers and stuff like that. But they make good hard cash for these studios that basically they can come back and make another one. And the thing about it is, this is part one. This is part one of three movies. There's supposed to be 3 movies in total. This is supposed to be to wrap up the Demon Slayer story arc. Now, are they going to separate these into a season or two? Hard to say. Hard to say at this point. It'd be a shame if you did. I think it should be kept as a movie, sold to the streaming sites as the movie itself. To the end, because I know there were some people that said, no, they're going to separate it. Someone in my building who's an anime fan too, where I live, said, nah, they're going to separate it. And I said, well, don't jump to conclusion. We haven't, and this was back 6 months ago. We talked about this, and it's to the point that why would you take such a great piece of work of art and just slice it up like a pizza? And it gets to a point, there's some great movies out there. There's some great anime movies, and I've grown up with a lot of them. I've grown up with Akira and Ghost in the Shell, and a lot of some of the stuff that they've done for Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho and Tenchi Muyo. Those, where they've had series and they made them into movies. I mean, even My Hero Academia as a recent on there. And there are others that are coming. You got, what was it? One of the other ones that are, and it's part of the list today that we're talking about, that is Edmonton the Shadow is getting another season out of it. But they're also getting a movie adaptation on there. Besides that, they're getting a live. I heard that they might be getting a live action on there too. But like I said, it's breaking records to the point, and it's continuing on there. I mean, the numbers, we'll probably update the numbers on the next edition on there and see that, or we might do a separate video for that. And we'll find out on there. But before we move on to there, and I just want to do a reminder to those of you out there. Take a moment. There's a little bit of an advertisement. Besides that, we talked earlier with the subscribe, like, share. If you're interested in there, if you want to go further to assist this channel, because like I said, YouTube has put it to themselves that they're going to make it harder for us to move up in the algorithm. Check out our description below. we do have a t-shirt shop on there. We're in the back to school level right now. We also have a PayPal site as well. You can drop a couple bucks in there for coffee or something like that. You're able to do that. We really do appreciate any sales from on there. As far as our t-shirt on there, there's some great stuff. We're on back to school right now, 15% off. Promo code math. Yes, that's right. We need math in the world. We need a lot more math in the world because kids can't do math besides reading, which in a way that's our part of today's main story itself. So basically, check it out. It's right there, shopcuticast.com. And also you can hit the link if you want to throw in something for coffee or something. Coffee and donuts. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So let's move on. Now, last week we gave you a top 10. Top 10 of some of the stuff out of the Anime Expo that has just coming on. We have Comic-Con. I think it's this week. Is it this weekend or next? I think it's this weekend. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's this weekend. That's coming up. And then we have an NYC Anime coming in October. I think that's it. That's the next major thing on itself. And, of course, NYC Comic-Con as well. That's coming, too. That's, we're getting a lot on as far as the conventions on there. And there's a lot showing to it. Now, I'm going to give you another top 10. And this is some of the stuff that just was important, didn't get leaked out too much and not talked about too much on there. Some of it I haven't even watched myself. And they're moving on with either an adaptation to anime or they're in their second or fourth season, depending on the program itself. Now, in the 10th spot, and we're going to start off this, is Toru Kaga no Railgun, or basically translates into a certain scientific railgun, and that is getting a season 4 right now, as far as the anime. And if you're not knowing what this is, and I'm going to be reading the premise with you just to find out what this is. No, it's based on the manga. In a futuristic academy city, which is made up of 80% students, many who are espers possessing unique psychic powers. Mikio Misaka, an electric master who is the third strongest of a mere 7 espers, who has been given the rank of level 5. The series focuses on the exploits of Mikoto and their friends on there. It's basic and simple to the premise on there. Like I said, I haven't seen this one, and it's in its season 4 already. But, the thing about it is you said, well, man, you should be up to date on all this. There's a lot of content out there. 300 a year? You got about 300 anime coming out every year. Plus on top of the manga on there. It's hard to catch up on everything that has been going on. And sometimes, I'm just now finishing. I just finished off one of the other major animes. I'm just finishing off the My Hero Academia Vigilantes. I'm just finally finishing that off. The other one, Call of the Night. I'm just starting the second season. I'm just starting that second season on it. And I've been enjoying it. It's been really good on that series itself. And, I haven't started, My Dress Up Darling, and a couple of the others that I wanted to watch this season. And there's a lot more that's opening up for the summer as well. But number 9, this is a popular one that I do enjoy also. And I am up to date on this particular one. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. They're giving a season 4 and a movie. So Rimuru is back again for another season of this, in control of this world that he lives in, this kingdom that he's created, he's built up, and there's more dangers that are going on. It's a really good show. It is a really good show. If you like the slime type anime, that comes from time to time, and these are fun. I like the Rimuru ones. This is really fun. It's really fun, especially this is the one that you had one character that had a fight scene that he was into reading manga and was basically interpreting like Street Fighter power moves and Dragon Ball. He did Joken, that one, and the Kamehameha wave from Dragon Ball. And that was funny in itself. If you haven't seen that, you got to catch that. I think it was season 2. I believe that's season 2 on that particular one. But like I said, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. They're getting season 4. We don't have dates on that as of yet. Now, Crunchyroll has announced that they're doing an anime adaptation of a manga series called Rebuild the World. And I've heard this before. And it was announced back in 2023, and I guess now in 2025. They're finally getting it off the ground into production. If you're not familiar with it, it's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi light novel series that follows Akira, a young man from the slums who becomes a hunter, exploring the ruins of a fallen civilization known as the Old World to find valuable technology. He's guided by Alpha, a mysterious artificial intelligence who helps him survive and thrive in the dangerous world. Like I said, this was an adaptation that was supposed to have been done already. Anime Expo had announced it back in 2023. Hopefully, it's well underway. I mean, from what it seems like, it's coming. Now, moving on. Number 7. This one is popular. This is, you can thank Netflix for the popularity of this one. And this is why I would tell you that Netflix has surpassed Crunchyroll as the world's go-to anime streaming site. Because this one was one of the ones that basically people were going to Netflix to watch. And this is, Kadokawa and Trigger. And that's Delicious in Dungeon. If you haven't seen this yet, and I'm just finishing the season on there, this is about adventurers that are basically going through the adventures, and they're coming across food that they're eating in the dungeon itself. I mean, they're cooking stuff, and one character is just like, no, why are we eating these monsters and stuff like that? And it's literally a food anime. This is what this is. It's a food anime with an fantasy adventure premise to it. And the thing is that, and this is why we tell you, that when you look at how people call anime pornography, this is the anime you need to point to. You need to point to this and tell them, listen, it's not pornography. Look at this anime. This is an anime talking about food. Unless you're talking about food porn, to that point. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that, you look at. So it's fun. It's funny. And you learn a lot into the characters. It's a good character development. And like I said, Netflix was the one that drove this, and you didn't expect it to, they said, oh God, it's in Netflix jail. It's not going to do well. Actually, it has. It's done very well for itself on there. And another one that's been doing well for itself, that's getting a season 4, and it's in the number 6, is Classroom of the Elite. This is another series that I haven't really gotten into. But from what I understand, I think, was it season 2? I think either 2 or 3, a lot of people didn't like. But the thing about it is, the series has done well for itself overall. And, I haven't seen it myself. Eventually down the line, I probably will binge it just to see what's the whole thing up. But that is another one that is coming out as well. And here's another one that's really popular when it comes to the music portion of anime, and that's Boshi the Rock, and that's basically they're getting a second season in production right now. Another one that I haven't seen as of yet, but I know a lot of people do talk about it online. This is one of the ones that should have been in the anime awards uh, as of late. There's a couple of others in the music realm that should have been in the anime awards also, and just basically was overlooked. And, any of these ones that deal with music, should be held up there, because basically there's not a lot of great music out there. And when it comes to the Japanese, one thing that holds up, whether it's Japan or whether it's Korea, is the music. Some good music out there, and you remember some of, opening titles, closing titles, or the music in between. People remember that always to that point. And then here in number 4, we mentioned this already. Eminence in the Shadow, Lost Echoes, anime movie. They officially announced on there, so we're going to be getting that. When's the next season coming out? That should be hopefully soon, as well. Eminence in Shadow, I'm up to date, and I did enjoy it. Barely enjoy it. It left in a cliffhanger that basically Shadow has returned to his original homeworld. He was isekai'd, and now he's back home again. He was transported back. So what's going to happen now that he's back home again? Does he still have his powers? That's the good question. We'll have to wait and see. And something else we're going to have to wait and see is Jujutsu Kaisen is also getting another season on there. Mappa is in production with it for season 3. I'm still in season 1. Sorry, I'm not caught up yet. But it's a good anime. It's really, really good. It's a good premise to the point, and it's well worth the watch if you haven't started yet. Hopefully, you'll probably surpass me by the time I get to finish this series. But do catch it. It is very good. Now, here are the last two, which are both in the works, and number 2 and number 1. Omnid's Reader's Viewpoint. Aniplex and Crunchyroll are doing this one. It is based on a South Korean web novel that was out. It centers around Kim Dojak, who finds himself in a world of his favorite web novel, I guess it's isekai, 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse, which he has only read this himself. Figure that one out. The narrative style often refers to a third-person omniscience, allows the narrator to access the thoughts and feelings of all characters, provided the comprehensive understanding of the story. So something probably a little different than usual. This is out of Korea. Korea has been moving up in the realms next to China as far as the anime world goes. And they've been putting out some good stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's been coming out. I would not be surprised if Omnid's Reader's Viewpoint will be put out on Netflix. I would not be surprised, even though Crunchyroll probably will have the rights to it. But I would not be surprised if since it's out of Korea, that Netflix wouldn't bid to carry it as well. And the top one, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, Kagubachi. And that is coming out as well, which this one I've heard a little bit about as far as the manga goes. And I heard the manga, over at Viz, that this is really, really good. It's that it's been people have been wanting to have this one made into an anime. It's basically about a renowned blacksmith who crafted 6 extraordinary katanas known as the Enchanted Blades, forged from the one rare or Datenskin. These blades play a pivotal role in ending the Satari War. After living years of secrecy, the Rokuhuna family is hunted down by the Hishaku, a ruthless syndicate of sorcerers who murder Kanjushi and steal the enchanted blades. Wielding Enten, the seventh and hidden enchanted blade, Chichiro sets out on a brutal quest of vengeance to annihilate Hisaku and reclaim his father's stolen legacy. So it's a revenge type story to get back the blade, sort of like a, Conan type, my father's blade, to that point. But that is the gist of, the things that come out of the last Anime Expo there. There's a lot more you can that is available out there to look at. Do check out some of the other content creators. They have more to this because there's a lot of stuff in between gaming and all that. But I gave you just a taste, a spittle of things that is coming out, and it's a good amount. I mean, how much more can you get out of the anime industry? But you can. Same thing with the manga industry. There's so much. Like I said, about 300 a year. 300 a year. Think about that for a minute on how many hours that is as far as watch time. And then there's older stuff out there that some people haven't watched. I always recommend, and I'll tell you this straight out. If you find yourself to the point where you've about almost caught up on everything, and basically you're looking for something else to get into, and before you get into the next major one, I always recommend there are two things you can do. Two things you should be doing. One, you should be taking in a classic anime, no matter what it is. Whether you want to watch Galaxy Express 39, Cyborg 009, Mad Dog 33, any of the older stuff from the early days, from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. Take in one of those that you haven't seen. Something, you haven't heard of that, people said, check it out. And something you haven't heard of, the second part of it is the current seasons take in something that, that you haven't heard too much about, that seems to be pretty good on there, that you might enjoy, that you didn't hear too much about, wasn't advertised too much about, or as Mother's Basement would be, it would be it's a dumpster fire, but it's a dumpster fire worth watching. Stuff like Pare Everything. God, another world with my smartphone. We can go through a line of a lot of these animes that that basically doesn't get the time of day. It's stuff like I'm looking on my list on here. I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. In fact, season 2 is on the way right now. I'm an evil lord of an intergalactic empire. I may be a guild receptionist, but I solo any boss to clock out on time. I like that one on there. Headhunter to another world, from salaryman to the Big Four. Daily life of a middle-aged online shopper in another world. Of course, Artifuda. And now Artifuda has been picked up a little bit more by a lot more people on there. Chilling in another world with level 2 super cheat powers. I mean, some of the stuff. How not to be summoned a demon lord, which some people have on that. And there's a lot of more. And Skeleton Knight in Another World, which basically is getting another season on that. Finally, they're announcing that one coming out. But like I said, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of anime out there. You don't have to hit the top tier all the time. Give some love to the old, some of the not so top tier. You might find something that's enjoyable, something to kick back. Not the great, like I said, not the Academy Award Oscar type, but something that, if you feel bad in the day, you've had a hard time, say at school, for work, or something to that nature, that you could kick your shoes off, crack open a drink and some snacks and stuff like that, and watch. I've done that myself. Where I just picked something out of the blue and just watch it. But finally, now let's get to the end of this and the main, as they say, crux, the meat and potatoes of this episode. Now, like I said, last week, we talked about how Netflix has overtaken as the global leader in anime streaming. And we talked about that. Basically, there are those who have done the research work on there, and the numbers are there. And some people have been questioning, how the hell is this happening? How the hell did this happen? I mean, Crunchyroll has a lot of content. They have tons of content. Yeah, that's true. They do have a lot of content. But here's the difference. And this is why piracy is still very popular. They're not everywhere around the world. They're not. But Netflix is. Netflix is in more territories than Crunchyroll. And this is why one of the reasons why it's globally the top for anime. For that reason. The numbers continue to grow. In the West, there's another reason why. Well, actually, in the West and in down in the Central and South America, the popularity. And the reason is for dubs. Yeah, it has, to that point, the popularity to some of this anime is because of the English dubs. That basically more and more anime viewers are watching the English dubs than the subtitle. And I didn't believe it at first until I heard what was going on. And there are many parts to this. There are many parts to this situation. Part of it, and unfortunately, I hate to say this, but it's true, is the education standards today in our country. That you have a lot of kids that can't read at their grade level. Now, you may say to yourself, well, I see them getting the mangas and stuff like that. And that's the chosen ones that are getting those, that are reading. And those do better in that category. But when you look at it overall, and you look at places like New York and Baltimore and Chicago and Los Angeles, you're seeing more and more kids not reaching their grade level in reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's a shocker right there. Meanwhile, they want to take away the manga from the libraries themselves. Stuff that they will read. See, the thing is, one of the big pushes years ago that had kids reading, actually it's two things that had kids reading. One, obviously, was the Harry Potter books, which was very popular. The second is the Goosebumps series. Yeah, the Goosebumps series, kids were, every time they released one, kids went off their rockers to get the next volume, to get the next story. There were parties similar to the Harry Potter ones, that they were having Goosebump parties at Barnes & Noble and all the other bookstores throughout the U.S. Kids were picking up and reading. What has happened to this point? What has happened where they can't read anymore? And that's just one of the reasonings behind it. But I'm gonna pull this off of Anime Corner. I'm gonna read a little bit on this. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this particular article, but I'm just gonna read a premise of it. With anime streamers rushing to increase fan accessibility in different languages, the two of the most important platforms, Crunchyroll and Netflix, have both recently revealed that subtitled anime viewing accounts for the minority of fans. Netflix more recently confirmed this, revealing at Anime Expo 2025 that this month that half of its members, that's over 150 million households, watch anime. That's a big number. This was in addition to the surprise stat that 80 to 90% of Netflix users opt to watch anime dub. I'm going to repeat that again. 80 to 90% of the 150 million households of Netflix users opt to watch anime dubbed. Meanwhile, as Crunchyroll's president Rahul Puri toured the UK in May of 2025, he reviewed that fans in the region accounted for the highest proportions of anime sub-watchers, with 48% of UK users opting to do so. This means that in every other region globally, at least 52% of Crunchyroll's anime watching was without subtitles. While a small percentage of these viewers may simply be watching the raw Japanese, it showcases how pervasive dub watching is worldwide. But this is the thing: is that I watch English. I'll admit I watch English dub, but that's when I want to sit back and just really I don't want to read anything. I want to sit back, relax, have a drink, maybe a snack, or I might be watching it during dinner time. Yes, I do watch anime during dinner time. I have my trusty tablet, or if I don't have my big screen on while watching it, because the way we're set up, our dining room is close to the living room, and we're able to watch the setup, the way we have it set up. We're able to watch the big screen from the dining room area. But like I said, I'll have my tablet out, or I might have my smartphone out, and I'm watching something while I'm eating. And generally, subtitles while I'm eating, it doesn't do well. When I'm really into that, I want to watch something new, I'll watch it in subtitle format. Like right now, Call of the Night, I'm watching in subtitle format, even though it's the second season is not available in dub. I've already done season 1, both subtitled and dubbed, on both ends on there. So I've watched it already twice in season 1. Season 2, I'm just starting the subtitle format. By the time I finish the subtitle format, probably the dub format will be out. I'll be able to go back and watch it. This is the way I watch anime. I've always done this. I like to hear it from both ends because of the way of some of the politics that's involved, or how the translation went. Because I was talking to someone the other day. I think was it Sci-Fi? Yeah, it was Sci-Fi Snob. Because he did an episode of Lounge about 3 weeks ago. Excuse me. At this point, it's 3 weeks ago. You can catch it on his Sci-Fi Snob's channel. They talked about Akira, and I told him before he did the broadcast that basically, and unfortunately, I missed the broadcast. I was busy on something else. I wish I was there, but I told him. They says, be aware when you watch this. Be aware what version that you watch. For the reason is there are 2 versions of Akira that are floating out there. There's the original one, which is I think Streamline Pictures. Was it Streamline Pictures? That's the original one on there. That's the original with the original dub, the English dub. And then you have the newer version, which is out now currently in the what is it now 2K 4K situation now. That was completely revamped back in the early 2000s. That they redid this, they remastered it, similar to what they're doing Dirty Pair right now, which I think they just now finishing because someone had asked, "What happened to Dirty Pair? We've been waiting. It's never going to come out." I said, "Well, no, they're in the final processes right now. They're just getting everything approved as far as the." Titlings and stuff like that, labels and all that, all the stuff in between that you don't hear about. And take it from me that I've worked in that part of the business, in the manufacturing part of the business. Before you go to start to mass duplicate somebody, any movie, TV series, specials, or anything like that, you got to get approval for the boxes, the labels, how it's going to be shipped, how it's going to be packed. Where's it going to go? All the logistics to that's coming out to that point, and it's crazy insane. But getting back to the English dub, the Akira has a second English dub that's basically more accurate to the actual translation, to the script itself, because there are 2 versions of it. and the translations are completely different. When you watch it, it's completely different as far as a lot of the wording. And that's the thing about itself. Flash forward to 2025. You got those who are work for Crunchyroll, who used to work for Funimations, and some of these other that they don't properly translate. They try to interject Western politics into the anime itself, which is wrong. Which is totally wrong. Because they said, well, we don't get the anime. What do you mean we don't get the anime? That's the thing. I hate when these people say this. I'm 58. I've gotten anime to it. It's very easy to get to know these things. Besides, you get to learn how, basically Japanese people live in most cases, even though this is their entertainment, what their belief structure is and stuff like that. You're not going to throw an anime which basically that they talk about stuff that's, that represents Western politics. You're going to talk about Eastern politics, even though there are occasions that, the USA and America is thrown in there as part of the story, whether it's in the background or in the foreground. Simply like Gate. Gate, you had the Chinese, the Americans, and all that trying to jock positions to get on the other side of that gate. If you haven't seen that yet, really good anime. We got season 2 coming, but it is to the point that you have people out there that just don't want to read, which is a shame. It is a total shame. But the other half, also to the point, and this is also Anime Corner put this out too, that and I'll read this off a little bit this is from the article that Spanish dubs account for 40% of its anime viewing. As anime fans learn more about the demographics that form some of the biggest streaming services, Raul Gonzalez, Crunchyroll's Vice President of Regional Marketing, revealed that 40% of viewing on Crunchyroll is through Spanish dubs. Speaking at CCXP Mexico, Peruvian outlet Otaku Press published its interview with Gonzalez, where he revealed Peru had outperformed much larger countries in terms of recent box office, and teased a new program, hopefully available soon, that provides much more value to the subscription. Gonzalez added that the goal was for the anime fans to find everything they like most: video games, music, events, that they could participate before going to stay. But he continued on and says, I could tell you that more than 40% of the content that we have is viewing is with Spanish dubbing. There are also people who watch the original language and then watch it again in Spanish. See, there we go. Same as there. It's Spanish because it also incorporates a bit of local flavor of Latin America and has that great impact. Gonzalez added, every 3 months we're dubbing from 30 to 50 titles, listening to what the audience asks us on social media and listening to what data do too. They're working to have most anime available in Spanish dub. Furthermore, he says Crunchyroll aims to diversify its voice acting talents, not just for Mexico, involving all Latin America. But there's a long road ahead. Latin America is one of the Crunchyroll's biggest markets. Yeah, and you can see here, Crunchyroll admits that they throw in a little Latin flavor into their dubs, their Spanish dubs. And that's why people go back and watch it in its original language. In other words, in the subtitle format. Because of that reasoning. They want to see the differences. Is it good that they throw in that little spice? To me, no. I want to see it in its raw footage, its raw language text. And before you tell me, well, it's hard to do. No, it isn't. It's linguistics. There are people out there who make a living in linguistics. I know I used to have a manager in one of the companies I worked with that he was a linguistics major, that his expertise was dissecting languages, especially Spanish. They told me, what was it, about 16 dialects? 16 dialects in Spanish that he's done. And it is difficult. It is a difficult challenge, but there are people there who can take up the challenge, take up the market. But like you said, it just you know, it's a shame. The other half of it is the shame that kids are not reading at their grade level. And this is the other problem. Let them read the manga. There's other manga, because they were that one mother, which was worried about Assassination Classroom out there. Fine, you want to take it out Assassination Classroom? Fine. There are plenty of other animes, plenty of other mangas out there that can be substituted, that would be more agreeable to mom and dads out there. Remember, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's something out there in the anime manga universe that is for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, straight, gay, white, black, Asian. There's something for everyone. The baseball fan, the cooking fan, it doesn't matter. There is something out there for you. You need to go out and find it. Yeah, sure. It's easy to find it because most of these sites, they do separate it. Content creators like myself and Chibi and many others who sit there and talk about this all day. You want to take one of their videos and watch it besides mine, because there's so much out there. So much, Mother's Basement's another one. Mother's Basement, I think, has one of the best breakdowns as far as what to watch per season. I mean, there are some others on there. There's some great others ones that you can look at. But I think Mother's Basement pretty much puts it down to the point, and he'll separate it from the stuff that's really well worth to watch and the stuff that's, what they call dumpster fires, to the point which there are dumpster fires that are worth watching, and then the dumpster fires that stay away from. That's what I tell you. Besides myself, I do encourage you to go out there, look at what else is out there. There's some other great videos, and they get to the point where the information is out there. There's an overload of it. I mean, was it Giggly? I think he's called. He's always talked about anime. They're the Truthfully Tasteless podcast. That animation one where they talk about all things anime, manga, Japan, and he put his money where his mouth is, and basically he has his own anime that's coming out. He's created his own. He's worked with a couple of some major people, and I think one major studio, and now he's got an anime coming out as well. So the information is there. The expertise is there. Take it to this point. Don't take it with a grain of salt. Go out there and check it out. At this point, and I'm going to tell you, and we're going to end this out for today. Once again, I'm going to tell you, drop a comment, hit that like, share, and hit that subscribe button. If you do at least one, I'd really appreciate it. If you do all of it, I really, truly appreciate you as much as if you just did one as well. For the reason is, and I'm talking also you guys on Rumble as well, and I said this in the beginning of the broadcast, that, YouTube is playing their games. Yeah, that's right. They're playing their games and telling, that to get it, to get the numbers up, you got to be more interactive, and that's ridiculous. How much more interactive do you want if you're watching the video? You watch the video from beginning to end, you should get the credit. You should get the full credit. That should be to that point. But this is what's happening out there, ladies and gentlemen. And we need your help. All of us content creators need your viewers' help out there. to maintain our presence here on these platforms. And it's very important on there. Besides that, of the subscribe, like, share, comment, also, if you want to go further, we have a gear shop. We got a PayPal site. If you want to throw, a couple bucks out there for coffee or pizza, something like that, you can do it as well. Just look in the description below there. Also, do this for other content creators out there. I recommend Sci-Fi Snob and also Sci-Fi For Me. Those are two other content creators that have some great shows out there that are constantly on. I'm going to be on in, I think, another week. Is it episode 9 of Babylon 5, The Coming of Shadows? I will be on that panel, which will be an interesting episode. But it's every Wednesday, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. For those of you on there, Sci-Fi For Me is on daily. Do check it out on there. I know he has a Friday show. He has a Thursday show. He's always listed. When you subscribe, hopefully you'll get his notifications. They also both have Discords out there. We are reactivating our Discord, which you can find me on Cuticast TV on there. If you're on Discord, if you want to click in on there as well. So, we're making a more presence out there on certain social media sites. Right now, it's, we're on Facebook, but, we don't put too much into there. Most of our people that are clicking on us are basically on X right now, currently. So we will see you next time. And that'll be our last show of the month, which is exactly the 31st, July 31st. We're most way through the summer, and we'll have more to this. Like I said, we're working on the that Steam article, basically, the whole bend of the knee type situation from that feminist radical group. We are working on that for Man with the Show. We got more info coming out on the anime manga world here on Otaku Thursday. And like I said, do check me out on Sci-Fi Snob's channel. And do check out his channel also. And Sci-Fi For Me as well. Both those channels are very good. So until next time, thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for tuning in. Take this moment. Take in some anime. Take in some manga. Treat it like a fine bottle of wine. Open it up. Smell it. Taste it. Touch it. Enjoy it. And we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in. Check out our other videos here on Cuticast TV, Man with the Show. And we'll see you next week, this time, this square, for the next edition of Otaku Thursday. Have a good day. Bye-bye now.
Thanks for watching, commenting, and sharing this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe, as this helps the reach of this channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help support this channel, as new internet laws around the world will diminish our reach and affect our sponsors. If you choose to help, there are 2 ways, listed in the description below. The first link will lead you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will lead you to our gear shop, where you can buy shirts, mugs, and other gear. Discounts will be listed on the site. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.
Fuck all what you think, bitch. Make sure let me paint this.